Welcome back to Pre-Algebra Chapter 7, Section 3. In this book, if you want to follow along with the book, percents and decimals. And once again, this is classic pre-algebra stuff. Some things we do, and not so much, this is. So the first thing they do is have you convert from percents to decimals and decimals to percents. And how you do that is you move the decimal place 2 places, and how you remember that is the percent symbol has 2 zeros. Those 2 zeros are there to tell you 2 places. Alright, so we're going to turn this decimal 0.25% to a 0.25 decimal into a percent. How are we going to do it? Move it 2 places. So we take our decimal, and I like to do it with sound effects because it's more fun with sound effects. It's more like you're playing a video game. Whoop, whoop. So there it was, I moved it 2 places, so this is 25%. Ta-da! See, I'm putting it under the percent sign. So let's do this one. How many places? 2 places. So let's do it. Whoop, whoop. 62%. What about that one? The decimal's right here. That's weird. How many places do we move it? 2 places. Whoop, whoop. So we have to add our zeros there. We augment zeros. So it's 100%. So if it's missing zeros, go ahead and do your moving, whoop, whoop, and then add your zeros. How about that one? That one's weird. How many places do we move it? 2 places. Whoop, whoop. Have to add 1 zero. So it's 230%. You go 2 places that way. All right, what if we have to go the other way? We're at percent and we have to go to decimal. We're going to move it 2 places this way. Alright, so right here's my decimal. More fun with sound effects. Whoop, whoop. 0.75. Right here's my decimal. We got to go 2 places this way. Whoop, whoop. Augment a 0. 0.004. Now notice, this was a decimal and a percent. We don't worry about it being a decimal. We just realize it's a percent and it needs to be just a decimal. So we move it 2 places, whoop, whoop, that away. Okay, let that one sink in a minute. Look at your book if you need to. Alright, here's another one. This one is 168%. And we need to change it to a decimal. Our decimal point here is right here, and I need to go this way because I'm going from percent to decimal, so I say whoop whoop, and it goes right there. 1.68 as a decimal. Okay? Now sometimes they give it to you as a fraction, and you have to turn it into a decimal and a percent, or they'll just ask for percent. But how you get from fraction to percent is through decimal. It's like a door, the decimal door. Alright, so here we have this fraction, 3 divided by 8. What I want you to do is do it on your calculator. This is 2020. We're not going to do it the way I did it in the 80s in middle school. We're going to do it your way, which is the calculator way. The reason why we have to start using our calculator is because as you go into high school and college, they're going to expect you to do faster math than they expected me to do when they had me do this problem without a calculator. So if you try to be, old school and do everything 1980s way or even 70s way, then you're going to run out of time. You might get the right answer, but you're going to fail because you're only going to get 2 of the 30 problems done and you're going to just fail. So we have to embrace the technology. I know it's hard for some of the moms to realize that, but we got to move to calculators now. And it used to be that they'd say, well, you're not going to always have a calculator with you, are you? We do now, don't we? On our phones. We always have a calculator with us. So we just got to embrace the calculator, embrace the technology. You can know how to do it old school, but for doing your homework and stuff, I want you to use your calculator. You need to get good on your calculator and fast on your calculator. In my day, math was math. In your day, it's speed math. You are expected to be fast and accurate because you're expected to use a calculator. Alright, that was my calculator spiel. So how do we do it? On our calculator, we say 3 divided by 8. enter. We get it as a decimal, 0.375. If they ask for a decimal, this is the answer. But they ask for percent, so we have to move our decimal place 2 places this way. We say whoop whoop, and it's 37.5%. Here's another one. 5 divided by 3 on our calculator. We get 1.66666 all the way to the edge where it says 7. The 7's not really there. It's just they rounded the last 6 up to the 7 on your calculator display. So we could go ahead and move our decimal place and go whoop whoop and write it approximately equal to 166.7 or 67, or we could say it's exactly equal to 1.66.6 with a bar over the 6. That means it continues on to infinity. All right, so here they gave us another is of percent problem. So it says find 10.5% of 5,600. It's a little confusing because they didn't use the word is, so we have to figure it out. Well, we can tell 10.5 is the percent, 100 is 100, so we're good there. And then notice of is next to 5,600. So the thing we're looking for, the is what's missing. We could sort of reword it and say, find what is. That was implied, 10.5% of 5,600. So sometimes it's tricky. All right, now we got it in our formula. What do? Draw our cross. Doop, doop. More fellow sound effects. Now we multiply across the cross. X times 100 is 100x. 56 times 10.5 is 56 times 10.5. We multiply 56 times 10.5 and get 58,800. Why is x not alone? It's being multiplied by 100. So we divide by 100. What we do to one side, we do to the other, and those zeros cancel out, and x is 588. Now in your book, they do it a slightly different way. And remember I told you in my story last time that one of the problems with decimals is people don't know how to do them because they don't have it in their gut to tell them how. Well, it turns out there's more than one way to look at it, and that's the other thing that makes it really confusing, is there's more than one way to do it. This problem is done slightly different in your book, but of course they got the same right answer as me. I want you to do it the same way every time, and that way you'll memorize it and you'll never be the person at the jewelry store who doesn't know how to figure out the tax. All right? If that doesn't make sense, watch the last tape. All right, math is great. Come back and we'll do more of it. Yay!